Part 2 of Full Court Press Basketball Debate, February 3rd, 2015. Chris Guyette here with Yvonne Juneau.
I had to talk to Kate.
Houston fears that Dwight Howard will be out for weeks. Now, for those of you who are not updated clearly as to what's going on,
He's hurt.
well, do you know how?
He's got a wrist injury.
No. He's got fluid in his knee.
I thought it was his wrist. Who's out with his wrist?
That was LeBron.
Oh, that was LeBron.
Dwight
He's
Howard
got
has
what?
fluid in his knee.
All they have to do is drain it.
But that's a process. They have to go in and drain that.
I know I had that done.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And on
You
a
gotta
7
figure-
foot...
Whoa. You got to figure out why there's fluid forming in the knee.
And that's a 7 foot, 280 pound man.
Oh, I didn't realize yet, but that hurts. Oh my God, that hurts.
So he could be out for weeks.
Okay?
Yvonne Juneau.
Because the minute he gets back on it and starts running, the fluid will build back up.
Yvonne Juneau. How will this affect Houston?
Oh, tremendously. Tremendously. I mean, there's very little to talk about here. This is, I don't care if they play a little team from Timbuktu. You take Dwight Howard out of the picture. I mean, come on. He's in the middle of the court. We're not just talking about scoring. We're talking about rebounding. We're talking about, he's not my favorite, never has been, but let's be perfectly honest. You take Dwight Howard out of the middle of the court, you got a hole there. Who's taking his place?
Probably going to be Terrence Jones, who's nothing to sneeze at. But,
Well, yeah, but he's not a Dwight Howard.
well, no one is.
Okay.
The problem with this is that can Houston win without Dwight Howard? Yes. They're doing it.
Well, it depends on who they play.
They're doing it.
It depends on who they play.
The fact is that they're not the same team without
No.
Dwight Howard.
You take
They're-
one of your key players
They're
out.
and it's not so much offense, it's defense.
Exactly.
Without Dwight Howard, they're they're already pretty mediocre defensively. Outside of Patrick Beverly and Dwight Howard, they're very mediocre. Harden has improved defensively. And don't get me wrong, James Harden is having an MVP season, okay? The man is still a mediocre defender. Trevor Ariza,
Wouldn't you say James Harden is the best player in the league right now, as far as...
after last night, no.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that. That's actually our final topic is about
Do
the
you
MVP.
realize who Houston plays
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Chicago.
And without Dwight Howard, they're going to lose that game.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. It
like
affects
I said,
them.
depending on who they play,
bad.
out for weeks. They play Milwaukee on Friday. I mean, you can't be without somebody like Dwight and expect to walk out on that court. They play Portland on Sunday. I don't care if it is in Houston. You can forget that. You can forget that. I mean, we're not talking about a bench player that you may or may not use.
Right. It's tough.
It's a shame.
Ricky Rubio makes his return for Minnesota last night in the loss to, who did they play last night? Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
The question, it was worded wrong. I got this in the pregame. It says, how much will Rubio impact the Timberwolves? We're going to take this question and we're going to go forward with it. In the long run, how much of an impact does Ricky Rubio make on Minnesota?
Oh, well, tremendously. Let me just put it to you this way, then I'll let you elaborate. There's no way that they would have, even though they lost 94 to 100 against Dallas, there's no way they would have made the 94 points they made if he had not been on the floor.
Well, that's all you need to say.
Okay.
But I'm gonna.
Even though they lost, they would not have come even close to only losing by 6 points. What were his stats last night?
Oh, he had like 14 points, 9 assists, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, come on. You take him off the floor, that 94 to 100, that 6 points they lost by would have been more like 16 or more.
I think it also had a lot to do with the fact that Rajon Rondo wasn't on the floor, but that's
Well,
just me.
Okay.
Now-
One was gone and one was fresh.
Right. Exactly my point.
One was gone that Dallas needed and one was
With
fresh.
Ricky Rubio,
But remember what you're saying, because you just contradicted yourself. They lost even without Rajon Rondo. I mean, they won even without Rondo.
yeah, but if Rondo would have been there, it would have been by more than 6.
Okay. Okay. And because Rubio was there, they only lost by 6.
Right.
So we're both in agreement.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Ricky Rubio,
And he was upset that they lost.
well, look, Minnesota is talking long term now, okay? They've got 40 losses to 8 wins. They're talking long term. You're talking a top 5 draft pick, okay? Which is fine and dandy. Minnesota is in a rebuilding stage. We knew that in the preseason, okay? And then when Rubio went down, okay, then Nikola Pekovic went down, then Kevin Martin went down. Good to see him back playing last night, by the way.
Well, let's go back even further than that. They ended the season last year by losing Kevin Love.
Well, right. I mean,
Okay.
it's just
I mean, it was negativity
they're
from the very
down.
get-go.
They're in a rebuilding stage.
Yeah.
They need to realize that. But it was a hell of an effort last night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and long term, how much will Rubio impact Minnesota? Well, they're going to come close like this.
Yeah.
They're going to win these types of games
Yeah.
with a guy like Ricky Rubio on the floor.
Yeah.
They're going to win close games.
Okay, before we get off of Minnesota, how long's his contract?
2 more years.
If it continues the way it is, you see, this year and next year, or 2 years after this year?
This year and next year, I believe.
He's not going to hang around.
That depends on what they do next year.
Right. But if it continues like it is now,
No, if it continues
Would
like
you?
it is now, no.
okay.
No.
Okay.
You ready?
Sure.
Kobe Bryant announces that he will return next season.
Of course he did!
Yvonne Juno, is this the right decision? Why or why not?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
You have to explain and elaborate.
Yes, because I don't want to see him retire and I want to see him play, and that's one of the main reasons I like to watch the Lakers is to watch Kobe. He could play all by himself and I would watch. Kobe is just fun to watch.
Kobe's the man.
Okay, Kobe's a beast out there on
Kobe
the floor.
is the man.
Okay? I enjoy watching him even when they're losing because I love to watch Kobe. Okay? If it means that he comes back, I'm being logical now. If it means that he comes back when Father Time is against him, his injuries are against him, and he's not ready physically, I'm not talking mentally, because he could psych himself up to take on anybody. There's no doubt in my mind, okay, that in his best day, he would have taken on Bill Russell, Shaq, Shaquem. He would have taken on anybody because that's Kobe. He's fearless. Is that good? Yes and no. Because sometimes it gets in the way of common sense. If he comes back and he's not ready physically, not mentally, physically, it's going to come back to bite him and hurt him. So, I hope that if he comes back, that he's not only ready mentally and emotionally, but that he has enough sense to listen to his own body and not want to be that I'm good. Because we both know Kobe will play in pain. He will play through the pain. He will play beyond the pain because he's just that type of person. But I hope he has enough sense not to injure himself long term, and that he retires and that he can live out the rest of his life for his children and still be able to be a good dad and physically in shape to do the things that he wants to do with his family. It's
I have gone through this over and over. And
there's
over
so much
again.
positive and negative where this is concerned.
Since this was announced on January 30th, I have mulled over this time and time and time again.
How old's Kobe again?
He's gonna be 38.
Okay.
I have mulled over this. I have looked at this from every angle, every which way I could possibly look at it, and I can't disagree with anything you just said.
However,
but this is 100% the correct decision for his career. This is the correct decision.
not if it makes him him an invalid.
For his legacy, this is the correct decision.
What's more important? Are you
To
kidding?
who? Who are you asking?
To his family, to him, to his family.
Okay. He wants to go
In his
out.
personal life.
I'm not going to explain this again. You separate the two. For 1 second, you separate the two.
Okay.
For that one moment.
Okay.
He's got 1 year left on his contract. Okay? Which means he's got 1 year left in the league.
Okay.
For his legacy, this is not the note you go out on. You go out a winner. And I'm not talking about wins in the win column. I'm not talking about another ring because it's not going to happen. I'm talking about on a personal standpoint, you can say that you went out there and you did it the right way. You didn't let injuries ruin your career. Because he's never let injuries stand in the way before. So he's not going to let it happen now.
You are such a guy.
No.
That's a guy talking.
No, that is how Kobe Bryant thinks.
That's a guy talking.
That
I bet
is how
if you ask
Kobe
his
Bryant
wife or
thinks.
his children, they would say something totally different.
Okay, great. Fantastic.
He's only going to be 38 years old. He's got the rest of his life. If he's in a wheelchair or he's crippled or
You take that risk every time you step on the court. LeBron James ain't never had a major injury in his life, and he could break his leg and ruin his career.
I agree.
Okay, the
But
risk
if
is the
deck,
same.
If the deck is already stacked against you, do you really? That
That's
would be
why-
like saying Papa should go out and do randori on the judo mat.
Paul George could quit now. After that gruesome leg injury, should he come back?
I have mixed feelings about that too.
He should come back. He should come back.
Don't get me wrong. I know that they're all taking a risk, like all those football players and everything. Every time they take the field, I understand that. That's part of the package. That's part of the
Sign
job.
up for it.
I understand that. But when you're already injured, why put yourself in that kind of position when you only have 1 year left?
Because you have 1 year left. That's exactly what I'm saying to you. If he had a 5-year contract, he'd say, screw it. I can't go another 5 years. There's no way. But he knows that he's got 1 more year left in him. If he gets healthy, which he will, he always does. He knows he's got another year left.
Where's
in
the
him.
line between common sense?
Wherever he decides to draw it.
Oh, we're talking about Kobe here.
Yeah, right. Right. We're talking probably the greatest player to ever step on the floor. Okay? He's not.
Who's got an ego and who's got
who deserves to have an ego.
I agree. But sometimes pigheadedness and being stubborn gets in the way of common sense.
Sometimes.
And your
Sometimes.
own. I'm not looking for him to get hurt. Don't get me wrong. I hope he comes back, and I hope that he finishes his contract out and gets everything that he wants. Like I said, I love to watch Kobe play, and it's not going to be the same. The Lakers take the court, and Kobe's not out there. But I also don't want to see him get hurt.
If we're talking that, then Chris Paul should have retired 2 years ago. If this is what we're talking about.
Well,
but
okay.
Chris Paul knows. He ain't going to stop me. Hell no. I am not going to succumb to injury. And if Chris Paul doesn't succumb to injury, honest to God, you want to talk pig-headedness? This is the most pig-headed player you've ever seen in your life.
I'm very much aware of that. That's the reason I know that
and
he is
injuries
gonna come back.
have never stopped it.
And I know that.
And if he let it stop him now, in his head, not ours, because this is like I said in the last debate. For you and I, he could go now and have nothing but good graces. Still be considered the greatest ever. Ever. Okay? Yes, I said that. But that's not how he feels. Where do you draw that line? That's completely up to him. We know where we would draw the line. If I was 37 and I had an injury like that, I'd say, screw it. I already got 5 rings. I've proven myself. And honest to God, to us,
he has.
He has. And that's great.
And he's got a wife and small children.
Mm-hmm. But he is not drawing the line. He's got 1 year left.
And it takes that fast.
For anybody. Not just for Kobe.
But the deck's already stacked against him before he goes out there.
Okay, Tim Duncan's 38.
No, he's not.
Okay, he's 92. He's 38. Chris Paul could re-tear that ACL in practice.
Absolutely.
So the deck's already stacked against him. It's not stopping him. It's not going to stop Kobe Bryant.
We shall see, because I know he's going to come back.
I can't wait.
And I wish him nothing but the best.
I can't.
Actually, I do wish one other thing. I wish they had more players so he wouldn't have to work so hard.
I hope they go and get somebody.
I wish they had better players.
You know what I hope the Lakers... Since we're talking about Kobe, let's talk about the Lakers
I wish
for a
he
second.
didn't have to work so hard.
You know what the Lakers need to do? They need to take Nick Young. They need to take Carlos Boozer. They need to take... By the way, Jordan Hill is the stuff. Okay? He's proven himself. They need to take those 3 guys and Jeremy Lin. Put them off to the side. Clear the rest of your roster. All that money, all those contracts, all that salary cap, free it up. Because you got a stacked free agency this offseason.
Absolutely.
You stick Lin and Kobe. Lin is your point guard. You need to stick with Jeremy Lin. Okay? Because he's finally starting to find his groove.
Well, not only that, he and Kobe seem to work well together.
Kobe is Kobe. Kobe stays. Kobe's there. Boom, done. Okay? Jordan Hill is a good big man. He's proven himself. And Carlos Boozer's a veteran that you need. Okay? Yeah. Maybe not in the starting lineup if you can find somebody better. But experience-wise, you need it. You go and get free agents. They don't have to be the LeBron James, the Dwayne Wade, the James Hardens of the world.
There's some good people that are going to be available.
You can go and get somebody like Wesley Matthews.
There's going to be some good people available.
And then you take that,
who may be willing to change teams.
And you take that draft pick and you use it on the best possible players that you can find. Restack your roster and go get the ring. Go and get the ring. Try and get that ring.
I don't think he wants to come back one more year for another ring.
No, I don't either. But you shoot for the goal.
I understand what you're saying. I really don't think that is his goal.
It's not.
I don't think that's his incentive to come back.
It's not.
I think it's all a state of mind, a state of
It's
status.
exactly what it is.
And that he does not want to be looked at as the guy who quit when he only had 1 year left.
That's exactly what it
And
is.
I understand all that. But, I mean, I'm just looking at it from his wife's point of view, from his children's point of view, from the rest of his life's point of view.
Maybe they're on the same page as him.
Oh, I wouldn't be. Not if he was my husband. No. Before we drop that topic, Kobe's also a very big spender. He might need this last year to sock some money away
Oh, sure.
so that he never has to worry about working, broadcasting, coaching, or
Sure.
whatever again.
Why not? If you were owed $27 million next year, I'd play too.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of hard to walk
Shit.
away from. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of hard to walk away from.
Brooklyn rejects Denver's offer for Brook Lopez. Okay, Denver made an offer for Brook Lopez. We don't know the details. They have never been released. Okay? Two-part question here.
I can't talk about this because I don't know what it entails, what it involves.
Nobody does.
Well, then
So
how
everybody's on the same playing
how can
field.
we elaborate about it?
Well, it's very simple. You look at the two teams.
Okay?
Question A, should Brooklyn keep or trade Brook Lopez? And why? It's a two-part question. We'll look at it from Brooklyn's perspective, then Denver's perspective. Should Brooklyn keep or trade Brook Lopez? And why?
I don't understand why they were looking to trade him in the first place.
No, Brooklyn wasn't looking to trade him. Denver made an offer for him.
Okay? He's not a free agent.
No, but they made a trade offer to Brooklyn.
And what were they going to trade?
We don't know.
Then,
We don't know. But should Brooklyn even think about it? Why or why not?
I don't think so. Why would you not want to keep him? I'm kind of confused here because
Depends on the Brook Lopez we're talking about. Are we talking about the Brook Lopez that last night against the Clippers scored 22 on 8 of 12 shooting and had 11 rebounds? Or are we talking about the Brook Lopez that over the past 4 years has had 6 injuries that have kept him out and that he has played an abundance of about 60 games over the past 4 years?
I didn't realize that.
Depends on the Brook Lopez we're talking about.
Okay. I didn't realize that he was.
If we're talking about the fact that Brook Lopez last night put up 22 and 11 on the Clippers, oh yeah, you don't even think about trading him.
Right.
Not even.
I didn't
But
realize
the
he had been,
problem
I didn't
is-
realize he had had that many injuries.
The
and had been out
problem
that much.
is he's not doing it every night.
Right. Very inconsistent.
And he should be doing it every night because he's capable of doing it every night. Because he used to do it every night.
What happened? What was the turnaround? What
Then there
the-
was an ACL. Then there was an MCL. Then there was an ankle. Then there was an elbow. Then there was another knee injury. It's everything. Then there was a hip. It's just back to back to back to back. The
Is
man
it
can't
all
get healthy.
legitimate? He's accident
Uh-huh.
prone?
The man couldn't get healthy.
Okay.
This is his first season that he's
Playing without injury.
practically healthy.
Okay.
And he's putting up good numbers. So if we're talking about this Brook Lopez, oh no, you don't even think about it.
Okay.
Now, is Lopez right for Denver? Would he
No.
fit in Denver?
No,
Why or why not?
I don't think so. That's not his style of play. That's not the way he plays. That's not. I don't see him on the Denver team. I may be wrong. Tell me if I am. But I don't see him playing with those Denver players.
A lot of people don't. I think it's a perfect fit.
Why?
Well, let's first start off by saying anything's better than JaVale McGee. Okay. Let's start by saying that.
Is that whose place he would take?
Oh, yes, it is.
Okay.
Now,
Didn't know that.
look at Denver, okay? I know we don't like him. I despise him. Him being Ty Lawson, okay, because
That's
of his
strong word.
because of his off the court drama, the DUI, the domestic violence. I don't like the man. Plus, he went to North Carolina. I don't like North Carolina because I'm a Duke fan, okay? But I respect the guy's playing ability. Second in the league in assists, okay? And let's look at the guys he's assisting to. JaVale McGee, Kenneth Faried, Kenneth Faried's pretty overrated, but he's a good player. He's overrated, but he's good, okay? Aaron Aflalo, Randy Foye. These are not names that stick out. Yet
No.
Lawson still somehow manages 10 assists a game, okay? Give him a big man. A compatible big man. A big man that works. Brook Lopez. Okay, let's take it beyond that. You got good shooters on that team. And Aflalo, Foye, they both shoot over 38% from three. Anytime you've got three-point shooters and a big man that's very capable, you got a dangerous team. And then Kenneth Faried and Brook Lopez in the same starting lineup. One's defensive.
Would he start?
Lopez, yes. Faried, great defender. Rebounds, block shots, and they're very iffy offensively. But Lopez makes up for that. Because Lopez is iffy defensively. One offsets the other. I like it. I like it.
Did anybody bother to ask Lopez what he thought?
Nobody cares.
I'm very much aware of that, but the man does have an opinion about his own future. And
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Not if he's under contract, he
I
doesn't.
understand that, but don't tell me sitting right there, right now, that you don't think that when they take the court, if it's in a place or playing for a team that he didn't want to be a part of, that it's not going to affect his playing ability.
I'm not going to say that because you're absolutely right. But I also know that they don't go, hey, Brooke, do you want to go to Denver?
No, I'm not saying they want to ta-ta him and they go ask their permission or how they feel about it. I'm asking you what you think that he thinks about this.
He wants to go to a winning team. And the fact of the matter is that Denver's got the better record.
Okay.
They're in the tougher conference, no questions asked. But they've also got the better record. Pick and choose. Pick your poison. Tougher conference with a better team.
Going from New York to Colorado.
Or a weaker conference with a team that's there.
It doesn't really matter because they rejected the offer.
Right. Right.
And I would love to know why.
We'll never know. Unless they release the details.
How do you think that makes Lopez feel? Unwanted? Or maybe the money wasn't
because
right?
Brooklyn didn't offer it. Denver said, hey, we'll give you this for
Right.
Brook Lopez.
Right.
If anything, it makes him secure. Because Brooklyn said, we don't want to give him up. If anything, it should make him feel like, hey, I've got a little place here.
It may also be about money.
Could be. We don't know.
Okay.
Adam Silver favors, quote, bigger all-star rosters. Yvonne Juno, do you favor this? Why or why not?
Explain.
I.e. Damian Lillard got left off the all-star team. With bigger all-star rosters, Damian Lillard would have gotten left off of the team. The all-star team consists of 12 players each. Okay?
Okay.
You only got room for 12.
Okay.
So somebody's going to get left out.
Oh, so
With bigger all-star rosters,
meaning
nobody gets
more
left out.
people.
Right.
how many what I didn't know. I didn't understand what that
it'd probably go
meant.
somewhere to about 15 to 18.
Okay, I didn't understand what that quote meant.
Right.
We're talking about numbers.
Bigger all-star
Okay,
rosters.
numbers of players.
Correct.
I didn't know if he meant size.
No. Number
or
of
if
players.
he meant money.
Do you favor this, Yvonne? Why or why not?
Well, of course. That way people like Damian Lillard wouldn't be left out, number one. And number two, That way you wouldn't kill those poor guys that are out there for the All-Star break. And then you send them right back to their team with no break in between, and they're supposed to be 100% for the team too? Yeah, why not? Don't tell me you disagree.
I 150% disagree with this.
Why?
And there's a very good reason. It kind of gets lost in translation how much being an all-star should mean.
I'm not saying I'm not saying go from 12 to 24.
Let me finish. Being an all-star is an honor.
Absolutely.
Or it should be considered
and it should be
an honor. You mean to tell me that there are 15 all-star caliber players in each conference? You name me 15 all-star players from the East. You can't. You can't. There's no way. Outside of LeBron, Carmelo, Kyle Lowry, Dwayne Wade, Kyrie Irving. I'll throw in Paul Millsap from Atlanta and Al Horford and Jeff Teague. I'll throw Teague in there as well because they've all had good seasons. I mean, you name me 15 all-stars from the East. It's impossible. You can't do it. There's got to be a limit. Okay? Being an all-star means you're upper echelon.
Absolutely.
Okay? I don't even think I could name 15 from the West that deserve to be all-stars. Okay? How about this? How about we don't leave it up to the fans to vote for the all-stars? How about that?
Wait a minute. You got good and bad points about that.
You have nothing but
Okay.
bad points about that.
Okay, wait a minute. Who would you like to leave it up to? That's where your problem
The front
comes in.
offices. Just like they do in the NFL. Just like they do in the MLB. The front offices. Because they're required to be unbiased. They have to swear under oath that they will be unbiased.
Do you really think that makes a difference?
It does. It clearly makes a difference.
You don't think money exchanges hands?
That happens everywhere.
Okay.
Okay, but it makes for a better all-star game. Because I'm sorry. I love him to death, but Tim Duncan does not deserve to be an all-star this year.
You know why Tim's on the team.
Because the fans voted him in, because it's his
And you
last
know what?
year.
Exactly.
Which is crap! You mean to tell me
that's
Damian Lillard doesn't
exactly-
deserve to get in over Tim Duncan?
Well, that's why he's in there.
Who's had the better year, Stephen Curry or LeBron?
Stats-wise?
Yes,
Well, I think LeBron.
LeBron. So why did Curry lead in all-star votes? Because the fans love him.
Yeah, because
That's wrong!
because of his flair.
That's wrong!
Okay.
I'm sorry. DeMarcus Cousins, whom we'll talk about in just a few minutes, okay, and Damian Lillard both deserve to be on the All-Star team. But because the fans voted in Tim Duncan,
You love Tim Duncan.
I love Tim Duncan, but I'm also not dumb.
Right.
He has not had an all-star caliber season. I'm sorry. Over Lillard?
That was because it's his last year.
You don't make
I
bigger
know.
all-star teams. Don't do that. Because, again, that's setting a precedence.
Well, the point is, where do you stop?
You stop
Do you
with
go
12.
from 12 to 15?
No.
And then when 15's not enough, then they're going to want to go
To me, it should be
20,
10.
And then it's going to be
To me, it should be 10.
2 sets of 5 stars.
Right. That's what it used to be. And then, no, we got to make it bigger. And then, no.
Yeah.
No, you take the top 10 players from each conference. That's what an all-star game is.
Because there should be 5 starters and there's all.
And a sub for each starter.
Right. Duplicates of every
Exactly.
position, so that if somebody's tired or gets injured or whatever, you've got.
I mean,
somebody
even
to
from
take
the
place.
West. Even from the West. Okay? I'm sorry. Russell Westbrook deserves to be an all-star. Stephen Curry, Damian Lillard, LaMarcus Aldridge. They deserve to be all-stars. Anthony Davis. Okay? I mean, help me out here. Who am I missing? I'll throw in Klay Thompson. Okay? Deserves to be an all-star. Has had a good season. Okay? I mean, who am I missing? Sorry, Kevin Durant does not deserve to be an all-star. That's why he's not an all-star this year. Okay?
Much as I would like for him to
DeMarcus
be.
Cousins deserves to be an
Okay.
all-star. Okay? I mean, who am I missing here? Chris Paul deserves to be an all-star. Blake Griffin deserves to be an all-star. As dirty as he might be, I think DeAndre Jordan deserves to be an all-star because he leads the league in rebounding. I'm sorry, that's all-star status right there. Okay?
Zach.
Mark Gasol. Zach Randolph's on the cusp. Maybe a reserve. Mark Gasol definitely deserves to be an all-star.
Absolutely.
Okay? I can't even name 15. I just named 11. I can't even name 15. No, you don't make bigger all-star rosters. Then what's an all-star?
Well, it loses.
James Harden.
It loses its importance.
Exactly.
And value.
The more you
The
have,
bigger you make
exactly.
it, because this is supposed to be the best of the best.
It's an honor.
Yeah,
It's an honor.
I hear you.
I mean, it just. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to compensate for everybody, and that's good. But there's
yeah, but
a
then
line to
before
be
it's
drawn.
over, wait, where do you draw the line?
Right.
Then before it's over with, then everybody deserves.
Exactly. Right. Part 2 stops here. Part 3 is going to come at you next.